Do you think that proof of citizenship should be required to vote?
Yes. We should kick everybody out. They were born here, they need to go.
Do you think that there should be proof of citizenship requirement to vote?
In just this country, or we don't know the West.
We're talking about the U.S.
I guess in a way.
You do feel like there should be a proof of citizenship? Good. Okay. And do you feel like in the United States it is too easy to gain citizenship in America, or do you feel like it's...
No, I don't think it's too easy.
Okay, you think it's okay?
My brother-in-law's from that country. A whole lot of folks, even though they're married against her, all the years later, they're still doing those things. I don't think it's that easy. I'm sure there are technicalities depending on the situation, but from my friend, it's not an easy system.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. How would legalizing same-sex marriage affect other people's civil rights?
Well, it shouldn't really affect other people's civil rights. Any kind of relationship, whether it's same-sex or not, it should be very personal. It's purely emotions that are between these two individuals, or depending on if they're open to more relationships, then it becomes just personal with each other versus just...
In Oregon right now, same-sex marriage is not legal. Do you feel like if they were to legalize same-sex marriage, it would benefit or not benefit the state of Oregon?
I think that it would benefit the state of Oregon. We've had a lack of we haven't been able to have same-sex marriage for quite some time. And if it was actually legalized, there would be a lot of tension on these particular relationships that they wouldn't have to be afraid of. But at the same time, you're always going to have people that don't feel comfortable about it. And until we move past this particular point, then it's going to be an uncomfortability for both either side.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Hi. For a vet, what do you believe should be their rights in the state? And what rights do you believe should be given while overseas as opposed to in the States?
What rights should we have here?
Yes.
As a vet?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. Pretty much on the employment issues, the vets should have first dibs on good jobs, I guess.
So you believe that there maybe should be some assistance also for vets who are trying to get employment here in the state?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
And how about while they're overseas?
How about what?
How about their rights when they're overseas? Should they get the same rights as they do here, or?
That's hard. That's a hard call right there.
What about their families back home?
And you're in a different jurisdiction, different country. You have to abide by their whatever. So, depends on what you mean by rights.
Maybe their access to health care and their family's access to health care and to funding for like their children to go to college.
Overseas?
If they're, regardless.
Over here.
Yeah, both.
Yes, definitely.
You think they should? Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
should have some.
Okay, thank you. Hi. Do you think that stricter gun laws would make Oregon a safer place to live?
Yes.
You do? Why?
My opinion is that, I guess how it comes out is if you're holding that gun or if you've got a gun, the chances are people are going to use it. And it's my opinion that given that even with trading in a certain situation, emotions take over and bad judgment is used in situations like this. That's my personal opinion.
Thank you. Teachers be trained and allowed to have guns in the classroom?
No.
Can I ask why?
I don't think, my personal opinion is I don't think having more people with guns makes anybody safer. I just don't.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. We appreciate
I
it.
think you can certainly increase security by making it harder to enter buildings and things like that, but I don't think putting guns in the hands of teachers or pilots or whoever else makes you any safer.
Thank you. We appreciate your time a lot. Do you feel like it's easy or difficult to get citizenship to live here in the United States? It's difficult.
Because I am old and I am alone.
One person.
One
You are one person.
Without family.
Oh, okay, so you're here by yourself. Was it hard for you to come here?
I am enter America in fifth month.
Oh, in 5 months. Okay.
10 months I am in America.
Do you like it here? Good. And do you believe that immigrants should have voting rights?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Regardless of.
Yes.
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 Is that good?
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, how are you doing?
Good.
What is your name?
Yeah.
Pat. My name's Ed Johnson. I'm just doing a quick interview of people's perspective on some questions we have.
Okay.
All right. In America, since we're such a melting pot of ethnic groups, do you think that we still have minorities in this country?
Well, I think it depends on where you live.
Okay.
We've done some traveling in the South, and clearly down there it seems like there's a lot of segregation going on.
Okay.
And the attitudes just, I think, are vary from place to place. So I think a lot of it has to do with where you live.
Okay. What do you consider a minority? I mean, is it attitudes of how people feel about another particular group, or is it more economic?
Well, I think both. It can be both. But what I was speaking specifically to was more ethnic groups.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think that, given the fact that we probably do have minorities, whether it's South here or otherwise, do you think that the United States of America owes anything to improve them as far as status, becoming not such a minority? Do you think that we should invest in them at all?
Invest in who?
In minorities in order to make them not a minority?
Well, I'm not sure that's so important as it is to just keep talking about the situation. I think awareness can make a lot of progress and headway and inroads into the attitudes of our children. And I think sometimes when you do make specific, give specific advantages to some ethnic groups, it can cause resentment. So I'm not sure, owing them something or giving them something is the solution so much as just to talk and have open attitudes and teach our children.
Well, I totally agree with you. Do you think that let me give you an example of what I consider, what I can look at as somebody needing help and being a minority myself and understanding how the plight of being a minority can be a struggle for some folks. Let's say that you were born into a certain group or a parent that was a minority, didn't have the same advantages as another person. Do you think that we owe them help?
Again, I don't know how you define that. Are you talking about financial?
I'm talking about financial, school. There's some minorities get benefits for going to school. There's some tax breaks for people who do certain things at a certain time in our period in history. My whole thing is, do you think that the United States should have a certain benefit for being a minority? I mean, if
Well,
you're
I think they do. They do currently, and they have for many years. But to give you an example of what I mean about how it can be to a disadvantage, when I was in my 20s, my husband and I were Caucasian, married, had a child, going to the university. I had a job. And so we were discriminated against, and we could not get daycare. We could not get a 2-bedroom in student housing because we were Caucasian and had a job. So I think you really have to be careful how these programs are set up. I think it can be set up to be helpful, but I think you just have to really be cautious on how you go about setting it up.
and as far as cut.
Thank you.
Cut.
Yep.
Cut. Okay, another question I have for you. What is your opinion on same-sex marriage?
I'm not against it. I'm not opposed to any of the changes that our state or other states are making to allow these people to become married and have the same medical benefits or employer benefits that the heterosexual couples have.
You don't think it's going to make an impact on people who are already married at all?
Why should it?
Well, I don't know. That's the argument. That if you're allowing somebody to get married that are same sexes, what comes next? You know,
I don't know what comes next, but I'm not going to worry about that, and I'm not going to judge.
So you're feeling
Judge not unless be judged.
So do you
Whatever.
think? One quick question, a follow-up question. That do you think that we should change the Constitution in order to reflect marriage between man and woman?
No, I do not.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome,
What was your name
Mr.
again?
Johnson. Pat Myers.
Pat Myers. Hey.
Hi.
Hey, Carly?
Yes.
Okay. I'm here with Carly, and my name's Ed. And I'm going to ask her a couple questions on minorities. So, what's your definition of a minority? What do you think what is a minority?
A minority? Is it like immigrants?
Immigrants? Okay, so immigrants would be something of a minority. Since the United States is such a melting pot of different cultures and different ethnic groups, do you think we still have a minority? Do you think anybody has an unfair advantage?
Unfair advantage? These are hard questions.
We're a deep group.
Maybe
Well, I'll give you another question.
people who don't speak English, maybe.
Okay, so they have a disadvantage, I would say, right? Because
Yeah.
they're here in the United States, they get a disadvantage. Do you think that the United States should send them all back where they came from? If they're here illegally?
If they're here illegally, maybe until they learn English and
Okay, that's fair. And then what do you think? What do you think that? Do you think that they get an unfair advantage? What I mean is that we have several different minorities in this country that get privileges. You get loans, you can get.
I think everyone should be equal.
I think everybody should eat.
Yeah.
Good.